Okay, folgendes. Eigentlich war dieses Video hier absolut nicht geplant, aber da ich mich gestern Abend nochmal hingesetzt habe und weitergezockt habe, ist dieses Videomaterial hier entstanden. Ziemlich gegen Ende erfahrt ihr dann, was dieses Spiel eigentlich so unglaublich interessant und besonders macht. Das hier ist dann übrigens auch wirklich der Abschluss von First Look, The Stories of Path of Destinies. Aber ich dachte, dass man das Hauptfeature des ganzen Games auf jeden Fall in einem First Look mit reinbringen sollte. Jetzt aber noch eine kleine Warnung, denn das Video enthält gegen Ende eben auch einen Spoiler, der zwar nur minimal relevant für das komplette Spiel ist, aber es ist letztendlich trotzdem ein Spoiler. Also wenn ihr gar nicht gespoilert werden wollt, dann schaut dieses Video am besten nicht. Wenn es euch relativ egal ist oder ihr euch sagt, ich spiele das Spiel eh nicht, aber ich finde es eigentlich trotzdem ganz cool, dann schaut das Video auf jeden Fall, denn es ist wirklich etwas Besonderes. Jetzt sage ich viel Spaß beim Gameplay und wir hören uns dann wieder in der Endcut.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark arts and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now, he had to make his next move. There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it. Renato had never been much of a student. At Swordfu School, he'd never read the books, just looked at the pictures. And Zenobia. But weapons he understood. His gut told him that the Sky Ripper would work great. He would use it to take out the Imperial outpost. And what's the worst that could happen? The thing wouldn't work, and then he'd take it to the scientists, right? Exactly. As he set out down the path, Renato wondered why the parts of the Sky River had only surfaced now, thousands of years after the Transcendent Emperor had discarded it. This Emperor, Isengrim III, had performed terrible, bloodthirsty rituals to invoke the lost gods. Perhaps that was bringing up lost artifacts. How perfect, then, that the Sky Ripper would reappear to be his destruction. Who needed bridges anyway? He was tired of slaughtering ravens. Maybe it was time to test out the new weapon. He turned a knob on the Sky Ripper. It made strange, mechanical noises. The wheels spun faster. It began to hum.
The Sky Ripper was following his every step. At least it acknowledged him as the master. But there was no trigger. How was he supposed to fire it? Fire, he said. Nothing happened. Well, maybe it just needed to warm up. After all, it hadn't been fired in thousands of years.
A crafting bench. Renato wondered what he could make with it. The Sky Ripper was making a whining noise now, and its wheels were spinning so fast he could no longer see them.
Renato had a thought. Please? He asked. The Sky Ripper began to glow. Boom! The outpost burst into flame.
Ravens flapped out screaming, wings on fire. The base was his. The far speaker toad came hopping out. "Renato!" It croaked, sounding like a toad version of Zenobia. "Don't use the Sky Ripper. It will destroy the world." "Yeah, sure it will," cracked Renato. "Pull the other one." "If you don't trust me, go see Calaveras. He'll tell you the same thing." Oh, she would say that. That sounded sensible. Why did she always have to sound sensible all the time? Oh, it was infuriating.
Of course she would say that. He was supposed to hurry and bring the Sky Ripper to the council so the rebels could actually win the war. But what if she was right? Damn it.
Just this once, he would not let Zenobia get into his head with her logic and her wisdom and her appeals to reason. He was a fox. He'd go with his instincts, and it would all work out like it always did. Oh, he was sounding like a reckless idiot, even to himself. But if there was one thing Renato could never bring himself to do, it was turn back on a decision he'd made. Imperials were flapping and cawing all around the ruins. They must be panicking with rumors flying of the superweapon. Maybe they hoped to find and destroy the base before he could put the Sky Ripper into action. The Sky Ripper was whining and heating up. It would be time to use that energy soon.
Nice. That could be useful. had to be something useful in these things, didn't there? He wasn't that good. Yet. That was awesome! This chest smelled kind of funky. He hoped he didn't get it in his clothes. What was Zenobia talking about? This was a fantastic weapon. Ravens burst into flames with just a touch of its killer beam. He was tempted to leave it on all the time, but he didn't want to accidentally slice off some council toad's head or tongue. She'd been trying to distract him. Well, this time, no one was going to distract him. Boy, if looks could kill. What was the point of this gate? Did they think no one would notice the lever? The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good. Meat. As he headed towards the council chamber, Renato felt everyone watching him.
You've saved the rebellion, said the council speaker. Frankly, we were afraid you'd turn aside to save that idiot Lapino.
If you never make sacrifices, he said, you're probably not doing the right thing. The speaker nodded.
Are you ready to lead the charge?
Let's roll, he said, with grim satisfaction. Renato set sail for the fleet. The Sky Ripper had lost its wine. It was humming now, as if it had taken some time to seat properly. He had always been irresponsible. This time, he'd done the right thing, made the hard decisions. He was a real hero. He hadn't let himself be distracted by old friends or old lovers turned enemies. Finally, he could be proud of himself.
He was ready. So was Sky Ripper. The Sky Ripper had a will of its own. It picked out its own targets and set them on fire.
This was going to be a short battle. He would set the ships on fire if he didn't need them to get to the Emperor. And he wondered if he'd see Zenobia, or if she'd flee. Wouldn't she be proud of him? At least, a bit of respect. He'd become an all-conquering hero.
Renato felt like he was ready to learn new things.
Thank goodness he didn't have to go to school for that.
Where did that go to? This was much easier than free climbing.
It was good to practice your moves, thought Renato. Keeps you limber.
what was really fun was hooking yourself onto a moving ship. Hey! Hey! I'm a firefox, thought Renato. There was a parchment on a signpost. It was from her.
Every time you fire, you risk the destruction of the universe. That's insane. We surrender. A trick? Maybe she really believed it. He could hear horns blaring the retreat. Maybe it was true. Maybe they had one.
That's my order, thought Renato. He was such a wit. Don't be shy.
And there was Zenobia, wearing the white robes of surrender. She came and kneeled before him. Why didn't you listen to me? I was trying to save you too. You're the enemy, you said. I was never your enemy, Renato. Then she spoke a terrible word and made a gesture with her hand. She stopped moving, covered in frost, and he wondered why she'd frozen herself. Then the Sky Ripper froze, and then, for a moment, he felt very cold and discovered that he couldn't move. The next thing he knew, the sun was a giant, monstrously red. It took up half the sky, and he was in a parched red desert. And then he was on fire.
Okay, that was weird. He could have sworn he just died. Instead, he was on the Farfarer, sailing away from Ubar. And it was still burning. He'd fled burning Ubar years ago, hadn't he? And now he was back there. Had all those years fighting the Empire been nothing but a vision into the future? A useful vision if it was true. He'd learned something.
Zenobia still had feelings for him.
He'd made bad choices. But now, when the real battle came, he wouldn't make those choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his adventure was just beginning. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced, or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Lapino was no game changer, but could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
So, das war's auch wieder. Natürlich auch unkommentiert, damit euer Eindruck frei von meiner Meinung ist, welche im Übrigen wirklich positiv ist. Aber dazu dann mehr im Review-Video. Wie ihr gesehen habt, wenn ihr das Video bis hier geschaut habt, hat das Spiel unglaublich viele Enden, die man durch diese verschiedenen Entscheidungen, die man treffen muss, hervorrufen kann. Ich finde das ein unglaublich cooles Feature und eine unglaublich coole Idee, und auch wie das so in das Game reingebracht wurde, ist wirklich sehr gut umgesetzt. Und mich selbst wird das Ganze wahrscheinlich noch eine Weile fesseln. Wie im letzten Video schon gesagt, auf Wunsch lade ich auch gerne mein restliches Videomaterial hoch, was noch so entstehen wird. Und dazu könnt ihr dann jetzt einmal oben rechts, ist das glaube ich, in der Infobox abstimmen. An dieser Stelle dann vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, lasst gerne ein Like da und vielleicht auch noch ein Abo, wenn ihr weiterhin an den Videos interessiert seid. Bis zum nächsten Video, haltet durch und gehabt euch wohl.